So when I was younger, like my parents got divorced. It was like grade 4, and then there was a lot of negativity in the household from like going back and forth with my mom and my dad. And it was just stressful for us because I was trying to have a social life. I was pressured into like fitting in with my high school group, so that alone was stressful for me. But it was constantly like going back for my mom and my dad, being like their messenger when they're fighting. And for me, I was really like frustrated. And I think when I got introduced to like drinking and partying and doing a bunch of drugs and stuff, that was like my way of saying like, screw you guys, like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, you guys can't tell me what to do. But then obviously they love me so much, they hurt, and that like me doing that hurt them. So then, but they weren't really good at communicating it back to me, so it was just like an endless loop of negativity where I wouldn't talk to them, they wouldn't talk to me, and when we did, it would just be fighting. Yeah, and I just hurt them a lot with some of the things that I did. I come from a place where I really didn't get along with my family, just because I rebelled a lot, and this was during my high school year. So, in high school, when I finally felt like I found my group of friends, that was so important to me, like just to fit in. So when they would party, I wanted to go party. And then when I wanted to go out at night and like drink or do whatever that I didn't think was too harmful for me, my parents were like, no, like you can't. There's really controlling, restrictive, and I was just like, I would lie, I would like sneak out, like just completely ignore them. And it wasn't even the fact that like I would be partying, it was just like I didn't even make an effort to see where they're coming from. I didn't really get along with my mom at all, and we had a lot of troubles growing up. And for me, it was just like hard to be at home because I didn't really feel at home. So I ended up doing a lot of things that I look back now at that I would never have done. I got into a lot of drug use. I partied a lot, like excessively, and I just wasn't proud of a lot of things that I did. And that didn't just hurt me, but it hurt my parents, like my mom, a lot. So that was a struggle. We never really communicated well, and I just didn't feel like she understood anything that I did. But yeah, that was one of probably the biggest struggles. When I was so like tunnel visioned in terms of like my own life, I didn't even consider what my parents were saying to me. Like when they were trying to tell me something, trying to tell me how they felt, I would literally just brush it off like it was nothing, because I was like, my mindset was, oh, they don't understand me, they're not even trying to understand where I am, and that frustrated me, so I didn't even try to do the same thing for them. But when things kind of got better, like over time, obviously, and I kind of grew better as a person, when my mom was able to tell me like how she really felt when I was back in high school, it made me realize like, wow, if I knew this back in high school, and if I even tried the slightest to see where she was coming from, I would have acted differently, you know? So if I could change something, it would be going back and just telling my old self, like, dude, like I know what you're going through, but like understand them first. How is it now? We're like best friends. Yeah, no, we're super close. Like it's crazy. Like I can't even imagine 3 years ago where we couldn't even be in the same room. Now me and my mom tell each other like everything. I tell her all my problems, vice versa. Like it's really good. What would I say to her right now? I love her. Like I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for her. Big advice is seek first to understand rather than to be understood. Always try to, even though it's hard, like try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and try to see where they're coming from first, rather than constantly trying to prove yourself to them and why you're doing things and try to get them to understand you. Step out of that your own shoes for a second and just try to see everything from their perspective. Try to see why they're saying these things to you, why they're feeling the way they do, and just try to understand them first, because I think communication will be a lot easier that way. Honestly, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem when I was younger. And because of that, it was hard for me to stay true to who I was and respect the people that was around me. But I really did find myself through fitness and I really did, it really helped me with my confidence and a lot of other things, but it helped me really find who I was. And I think when I started, to know myself better and to reach for higher things, it improved my relationships because I had more respect for myself. So I was able to share that respect with my family and everyone that was around me. And I just want the same for other people, right? I think health is super important, and not just for like the physiological parts, but for your like psychology, like for your mind and your well-being. And I think it's something that everyone needs to prioritize in their life, because it won't just enhance like, your fat levels or your blood sugar, whatever, but just like in the mind and how you see the world, it will improve everything.